Playoff time.
All right, we're back with another playoff bracket.
6 weeks ago, if you would have told me that I would be sitting here holding this with the Bills at the 2 seed, I would have told you are absolutely correct. Because when nobody else believed, this guy believed.
I wish you weren't a liar.
I want to remind everybody that a year ago, I put together maybe the best bracket the world has ever seen. I had one game wrong the entire NFL playoff, and I'm here to defend my title. We're going into Buffalo this week. Got my Fins jacket. I don't know if the goggles are for the champagne after the Fins win, but we're ready. We're dressed for the weather.
I didn't come in last year, so that's good.
I'm coming off an embarrassing performance last year. I had to do some street art for that, but I'm here to redeem myself.
I'm ready to go. So excited.
I've been outside of this room and I've just been hearing Luca shout, "Wow! Wow!" So I don't know what happens in this room, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty sweet.
Let's start in the AFC.
The team that nobody expected to be here, the Houston Texans, and the guy that nobody expected to be here, Joe Flacco. What a matchup we're in for to kick off the playoffs.
As bad as I want to see Flacco go into the bank to take on Lamar, I'm kind of going to ride with Houston here.
The Texans have just won over my heart. I'm such a big CJ Stroud guy. I'm going to have them going on.
No rookie quarterbacks make the playoffs like he has, so he's going to keep the run going because people think it's not going to keep going.
In playoffs, I think it's important to roll with the better quarterback, and I'm taking CJ Stroud over Joe Flacco.
And also, I have this thing about rematches where especially like Browns went into Houston, destroyed the Texans. That was without CJ Stroud. Do it again, though.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Everyone loves CJ Stroud. We know he's had an incredible rookie season, but Joe Flacco, 38. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what it's like. Maybe he can do it again.
If you think there's a world the NFL is not putting Big Daddy Joey Flack in the bank in the playoffs, you're out of your mind.
The Cleveland defense is going to eat up Stroud, and I think they're going to move on.
Let's go to the Dolphins and the Chiefs next.
Hawk is so down on the Dolphins right now, it's not even funny.
How many times have these Miami Dolphins this year had a chance to prove to the world that they aren't frauds, that they can get it done against a good team, that it's not just the Broncos that they can score 70 points against? They are the epitome of frauds, and they have ripped my heart out of my chest so many times.
Young Thomas has not had heartbreak like he experienced on Sunday.
I've never seen them win a playoff game in my lifetime.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
5 weeks ago, I told him the division is not over. He kind of laughed at me, but who's laughing now, Puck?
And they have to go into Arrowhead and play big bad Patrick Mahomes in the first round.
I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Patrick Mahomes against Tua? You know I am not taking Tua. Oh, here we go.
You gotta stop with the Tua stuff. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. That's all I'm just coming in here to say.
No one's picking this team. Well, guess what? I still believe in the Miami Dolphins. And I'm taking them to win in Arrowhead. Taking them to win in Arrowhead. Hein, I see you looking at me. I'm taking them to win.
I have been thoroughly enjoying the demise of the Chiefs this season, and I hope that that continues. I hope that that continues so badly that I'm going to put the Dolphins through to the next round. I just don't think that Mahomes has that weapon that he needs to get over the top, whereas somebody like Tyreek Hill, I mean, he knows Arrowhead pretty well. He's lit that place on fire a few times.
Tyreek's going to have a massive day in his return to Arrowhead, and they're going to be going off to Baltimore.
Bills and Steelers.
I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
If you're the Bills, and if you can't beat the Steelers, then you are not a Super Bowl team, and I clearly believe that this is a Super Bowl team.
I just don't think there's a world you can pick the Pittsburgh Steelers here, especially with Mason Rudolph.
Steelers, thanks for coming out. Like, come on.
To the NFC, and let's start at the top. Eagles-Bucks Monday night. What an ugly, ugly game.
What a horrid matchup.
The Eagles have been so bad. It's like they're trying to lose at this point.
The Eagles have the worst vibes in football right now, okay? They were undefeated, then San Francisco broke them, and then they lost to every team under the sun. The Eagles have lost 5 of their last 6, including losses to the Cardinals, and Tyrod Taylor and
And Tommy DeVito, almost called him Danny DeVito.
On a Sunday, they put all their hopes into the Eagles. And year after year after year, their team lets them down.
A lot of people aren't really believing in the Eagles anymore. They think they've lost a step. They think that they don't have what it takes to be a playoff team. I am one of those people. I think the Bucs are going to move on here.
I don't think that the Eagles can make another run to the Super Bowl.
I can't take Baker and the Bucks. I'm rolling with that championship pedigree. Hopefully, Philly kind of figures it out.
I'm going to take them, but I would not be surprised if somehow they're put on upset alert.
Remember when that guy was like all sad and he's like, I ain't hear no bell yet.
Hey, we down by 17, but I didn't hear no bell. This game ain't over yet. So the season is over.
You know that guy? This year he will be going into Tampa, but not be saying that because the season won't be over. They're going to win.
Next matchup, we have the Lions and the Rams.
Wee-woo, wee-woo. Upset alert. Upset alert.
This one is probably the hardest one to pick, in my opinion.
Goff versus Stafford, McVay versus Goff. Stafford returning to his old stomping grounds.
This is the first time two quarterbacks have ever played against each other in a playoff game that have been traded for each other. So this has all of the storylines.
You want to know something about Matt Stafford? He's never won a playoff game as a Lion. You want to know something else about Matt Stafford? He's never lost a playoff game as a Ram.
Who knows Jared Goff better than anybody? Sean McVay. Sean McVay has been in the deepest crevices of Jared Goff's mind. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. And those weaknesses are going to be exploited.
When your old guy's coming in, Matthew Stafford, you know he's going to rip your heart out. Give me the Rams.
And if it's going to be a shootout, I'm going with Stafford, Kupp, and Nakua over Goff.
Smell you, Jared.
Right now, I've just got the vibes that the Lions are going to be angry going into playoffs, and I think that playing at home at Ford Field, I think that they can take down Stafford. After all, Stafford isn't that great at Ford Field.
Detroit deserves a win, okay? This city deserves a winner, and this is the ultimate Jared Goff revenge game. Remember, he was the one traded by the Rams after getting them to a Super Bowl or helping them get to a Super Bowl, and then just traded to Detroit to rot in the scrap heap. And now he has helped bring them back to relevancy. Not only relevancy, but back to the divisional round of the playoffs.
Now we have the Cowboys and Packers, where the past two times they've played in the playoffs, it's been some of the best playoff games that I can remember.
The Cowboys are notorious for blowing it in the playoffs.
I am the Packers wagon. I have been on the Jordan Love train before there was a Jordan Love train.
I have sung his praises, second in the league in passing touchdowns. Last 8 weeks, 6-2, 18 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
He's kept the receipts. He made the playoffs in his very first year. They're going in with absolutely nothing to lose against the Cowboys team that has everything to lose, all the pressure in the world.
I love this guy. I think he's got the moxie and the swagger to go into Jerry World and absolutely rip the hearts out of Cowboys fans like other Green Bay Packer great quarterbacks have done in the past. Give me the Packers and give me the Niners.
I think Jordan Love keeps that top 10 MVP season going here.
Matty Hempstead, I know you want me to take the Packers. I just don't think I can. Back to the AFC.
Ravens over Texans. It's not Houston's time yet, and that is okay.
If it was the Browns, I would have happily taken Flacco over Lamar in the bank, but it's not. It's the Texans, and I don't think the Texans have a shot there.
Second round, Ravens against the Dolphins.
As Thomas Pachernik reminds us constantly, Tua owns the bank because he went in there and threw 6 touchdowns.
The Finns just lost by like 40 points in Baltimore 2 weeks ago. Absolute disaster. Maybe there's some sort of karma here for running up the score.
What do you mean by that?
Karma's on your scent like a bounty hunter, and karma's gonna track you down, step by step from town to town.
I think the Ravens are just so good. They're really good on defense. They've got MVP Lamar on offense.
It's got to be Baltimore.
Lamar is getting another playoff win that he desperately needs for his own legacy.
Call me crazy, but no, I actually can't. I actually feel like I can't do it. We're gonna pick the Ravens. Never mind. Sorry, Dolphins. You had a good run.
Joe Flacco's a secret agent. You think he just went to Cleveland to get them to the playoffs for no reason? We all know Lamar gets his playoff jitters. We all know that the first round is the hardest round to win as the 1 seed. So we just sent a Secret Service agent to infiltrate your squad, and you love this man as a god. Like he's not about to just rip your heart out and throw 9 picks in the bank, and we're gonna win by 30. Salute, Captain. We will send you off into retirement as a true Raven.
Bills Chiefs.
This is going to be an absolute heater of a playoff match. I love this.
Hein is going to love this.
This is an emotional matchup for me. I have been through a lot with this matchup. Fun fact, the first playoff game I ever saw was a 1992 divisional round game between the Bills and the Chiefs. And now we've gone full circle. 13 seconds, the AFC Championship. You can say it all. You won't hurt me. Being a Bills fan it's a terrible experience my entire life. Until this year. This year it's not.
The Chiefs haven't looked that great this year.
The Bills are beating the Chiefs, and you know what? We don't have to go to Arrowhead. The last 8 Bills-Chiefs games where it's Mahomes and Allen have all been in Arrowhead. I will be in the stadium for Bills-Chiefs. The Bills are going to the AFC Championship game.
The Bills, who are quite possibly the hottest team in the NFL right now, are moving to the championship game.
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes.
I think he did it on purpose.
No, he didn't. Okay, maybe he did.
I just don't think this Bills team is it this year. I don't know what it is about them. The Chiefs have been completely inconsistent, but they're the defending champs. They've got the best defense they've had in a long time. Give me Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. That's kind of all I want at this point right now.
You know what? For the story. We got to do it for the story. I think this Browns defense is what it takes to get those turnovers from Josh Allen.
Josh Allen at home in the cold is a good quarterback. I just don't think that he is going to be able to avoid mistakes when it comes to playing against the Cleveland Browns defense.
They've given up the fewest percentage of scoring drives this season in NFL, at below 25%. I'm a big fan of this Browns team.
Joe Flacco meets the Ravens in the conference championship.
Texans and Bills. I'm going to take the Bills to go on to the AFC Championship.
To the NFC, we got McVay versus Shanahan.
Do the Niners lose this early?
I think the 49ers are just too good to go one and done, and I think they have some unfinished business because I also kind of believe if Brock Purdy was healthy last year, maybe they're playing in the Super Bowl.
This is a matchup that is historically owned by Kyle Shanahan. McVay struggles against Shanahan, and this Niners team is just too good. Niners going to the NFC Championship game.
I'm going to put them to end the Rams' fairy tale run and head on to the NFC Championship.
As chalky as it is, I will take the San Francisco 49ers. And look at that. We're getting to the little Super Bowl logo thing that everybody seems to think is the thing.
I'm sorry, Green Bay. The run comes to an end.
I know I talked about the success the Packers have had against the Cowboys in the playoffs. Basically none against the 49ers, so I'm just going to go quickly past that one. They're going to get absolutely kicked in that game.
I'm not going to overthink this one too much. Niners, Bucks, Baker, the magic runs out. You had a terrific first season in Tampa Bay, but I think that the Niners are just going to be too much.
And then Eagles, Cowboys, I hate both of these teams.
And then the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles. I'm a little bit of an Eagles hater. I'm sorry.
There's no right way to have this bracket because if I take Philly could very well lose to Tampa in the first round. If I take Dallas, it wouldn't shock me if Dallas loses to Green Bay in the first round. So I'm going to go with a repeat of last year's NFC Championship. We are going to have a little Niners-Eagles action. Hopefully the quarterback situation works out a little better for San Fran.
We all want this matchup because the Cowboys were embarrassed in Week 5 when they played in San Francisco. They need a second chance at that. I think this would be a great Final Four.
Baker Mayfield against Matthew Stafford in the divisional round. I think the Rams keep this run going. No one saw this coming at the beginning of the year.
All right, Lions, Cowboys.
I want to see San Fran and the Detroit Lions, baby.
The Lions are a passion team. They play with their heart on the sleeve. Everything is emotional. And I think that they would be so angry that they didn't get that win 2 weeks ago that they might just find a new gear and take down the Cowboys at home.
Bills and Ravens.
I don't think it's just going to be, the 1 seeds are in the final. How funny. But do you think I'm going to put the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl? After listening to Christopher Hein sit on this chair and blab about, Josh Allen, he's so good. He runs. He's hard to tackle. Yeah, he turns the ball over, but that's what you get when you have an elite quarterback. Enough. I can't hear it. I can't have him walking into this office, puffing out his chest and telling me how the Bills are the best team. We have to put the Ravens in the Super Bowl for the sake of humanity.
I'm just going to whisper this because I don't want a lot of people to know, but I kind of think the Ravens are not who everyone says they are. And that's because of Lamar. What happened when Lamar played against Buffalo in a playoff game before? I remember Taron Johnson took an interception, 101 yards, and the Bills beat the Ravens. Josh Allen beat Lamar Jackson in a playoff game.
Chris Hein probably gave you this whole spiel about why this is the Bills' year. And last year wasn't the Bills' year, even though if we go and look at the Bills' year last year, how that failed when they got smacked at home by the Bengals. It's not the Bills' year. I don't have to point to none other than the first team in NFL history to lead the league in sacks, turnovers, and points allowed. That defense is quite possibly the best defense we've seen since the Ravens in 2001.
Yeah, Eric's going to tell you they're the first team in NFL history to lead in points allowed, sacks, and turnovers. This Bills defense is great. The Bills have a better quarterback. The Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Going to have to win at the bank, which will be tough, but the Bills are beating the Ravens in what will be an ugly, sloppy game.
I've got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. It's not a homer pick at all. Like my boy Ronnie on Instagram says, Ravens are going to the Super Bowl, yo.
And now we have the Ravens against the Browns.
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's former team. They know each other very well. Scorned exes.
How crazy do I get with this?
Everybody knocks Lamar for not having much playoff success, and playing against the Cleveland Browns defense is no cakewalk, but I think he can do it. Ravens are going to the Super Bowl.
I'll take the Ravens over the Browns. I think the Joe Flacco thing comes to an end against his former team.
They say to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I don't think this run would feel particularly creme de la creme if the Ravens didn't bounce the defending Super Bowl champs at the bank wearing their black jerseys with the purple pants. They don't lose in those, so you better wear them in the playoffs, Baltimore. This is the crowning year of Lamar Jackson. 2 MVP trophies before the age of 27. That's not been done by a lot of guys. And if we can get him a Super Bowl, that's even more impressive.
In the NFC, 49ers and Cowboys.
Then the Cowboys are beating the Niners. Yeah. Didn't see that coming, did you?
I said I wasn't going to put the 1 seeds all the way, but can we really depend on the Cowboys to step up in a big game and go into San Francisco and win? I don't think so. San Francisco 49ers, you're going to the final.
I will take Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I think this team is just coming in on such a hot streak. I love taking the teams that come into the postseason that figure it out at the right time. And I think that's this Rams team. Even though at the beginning of the year, we all said they don't have much talent there.
Now on the other side, we have the 49ers and the Lions. I think that the Lions, they've had a Cinderella season. If you talk to Lions fans, I don't even really think that they believe that they're Super Bowl contenders. They're more looking at this as a season that's a step in the right direction.
San Fran has just proven this year that they are the best team in the NFC. They have just run over teams.
Niners are going to smash the Eagles, get a little revenge spot for what happened last year.
Okay, so now for all the marbles.
Which leads us to a Bills-Niners Super Bowl. When I was a kid, Chris Berman predicted this literally every single year, and it never happened. And this year, we finally get it from Vegas. You guys know who I'm taking. Josh Allen, who should be the MVP this year, will get the Super Bowl MVP, which is more important. The Bills beat the Niners in Vegas in the Super Bowl. You want a score? I'll give you a score. 34-21. Bills over Niners.
I don't know how I got here, but this is my Super Bowl matchup. Ravens, 49ers.
What an amazing rematch. What an amazing Super Bowl rematch.
These are the two teams that are the favorites. They were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs for a reason. They're clearly the two juggernaut teams.
Give me the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy is playing some of the best football I've seen from a quarterback at the moment. And it's just pick your poison with these guys. Like Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. The defense is flying.
They haven't quite got over the hump in the Kyle Shanahan era. I think that this is the year that they do.
Kyle Shanahan maybe needs this more than anyone. He needs to get that Super Bowl on his resume to shake off all the other blunders he's had in his career.
San Francisco 49ers, 2024 Super Bowl champs.
Give me the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson having the MVP, the Super Bowl MVP all in the same years. I just trust this team in so many different ways. You want a reliable kicker in the playoffs? You got it. You want a QB that is playing lights out? And then you talk about the defense. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, one of my favorite players to watch, Roquan Smith, Jadeveon Clowney. Like, this team is just top to bottom stacked. And I know the 49ers are talented, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing game in Las Vegas. But the Baltimore Ravens come out on top. They're the Super Bowl champions. I've been with them since the beginning of the season, and I can't ride against them right now.
I think it's the Ravens. This offense has too many things that it can put its head on the combination with the defense, which is where they really take the advantage over the Rams. I'm a big Ravens guy. Tell Eric so that I'll get a high five from him after. And yeah, lock it up.
Super Bowl, Vegas is not as obvious as possible who I think is going to be this year's Super Bowl champion. I think you give them 2 weeks to prepare for one team, it's going to be very hard for you to move the ball on that defense. You got the MVP. Our wide receivers look great. So I am going to take the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Cheers. I'll see you in February with a bottle of champagne and a Super Bowl ring.
I think we're in for a great playoff. The Dolphins, once again, will win in Arrowhead. Yeah, I just filled out my bracket, but after this game, nothing else really matters. And that is what makes the playoffs so good. Thank you, guys.